Round 21 of the Lewis Hamilton career mode on F1 24 brings us to Brazil. As you can tell by the title and thumbnail, also looking on screen right now, we have a big race on our hands because we have a grid drop. Engine components. Now, this has been accumulation over the whole season. Previous episode, linked in the top right, guys, Mexico, go check it out. But we unfortunately suffered a DNF, and that was a real shame for many reasons. Not just for our own race, but because Max Verstappen won the race. So it was literally the worst possible case scenario. So with that in mind, we took a bit of a hit on some of our driver stats. We level up the strategy analyst, and our specialists are still improving, but that's not what really matters. Now, you can see we get an inheritance, 400 extra R&D points, which we are going to spend, but not on improving the car. We're going to spend those actually on protecting the upgrades for next season's regulation change. Again, I mentioned it in the previous episode, even though it's likely we depart the team for Ferrari, I want to make things, realistic and be professional and make things as hard as possible for myself. So, for next season, I want Mercedes to be at the top and be competitive. So, with that done, we now move on to our new specialist goals this weekend. Driving 169, nice number, kilometers during a race weekend for the manufacturing expert. Then on the wind tunnel engineer, we're going to complete any session with the fastest lap. And then we jump over to material fabrication planner. For this one, it's going to be perform 300 gear shifts during a single session, which hopefully during the race that should get done. And then on the strategy analyst, pretty simple, we're going to earn 12 championship points during a race weekend. So specialist out the way, upgrades protected, we can now get into the weekend and address those engine components which we know we have hanging over our head. So I have mentioned it before, this is a sprint round, which basically means in a way kind of double points because you score points in the sprint and the main race. So a fresh engine here is going to be key, much like in 2021 when Lewis Hamilton took an engine which was super fresh, super fast, stormed to the front of the field and dominated in Brazil. Now you can see Red Bull have actually overtaken us in the performance graph, and this is the championship heading into this race. We still have a healthy margin over Red Bull, 33 points in the constructors, but in the drivers, Verstappen is now 13 points behind. So yeah, it's close. It's going to go down to the wire. There's no other way of cutting it. Now with that said, we lost the ICE in the previous race, so we're going to take a new one, but that does confirm the grid drop. However, I keep things realistic, so we are going to run a bunch of fresh components on the MGUH, the energy store, turbocharger, and control electronics because we are on our last one, whereas the MGUK is part of my original allocation. And my gearbox, I'm happy to stick with the one we are already using because it's barely worn. So yeah, things are looking good. I don't mind there's a grid drop because I think it's a good track for racing, it's a good track for overtaking, as Lewis proved 3 years ago, and we want to try and replicate some of that magic here today. This isn't quite the W12, that epic Mercedes car.
Program complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can take you through the numbers.
But this is my W15, and this is a very quick car in my hands. So we finished our race runs, we had very good tyre wear and very good fuel consumption. We actually got, really quick over the 5 laps, also using the hard tyre to kind of replicate a compound I'm likely going to start the race on because we're going to start from the back. Now, one thing to note is those engine penalties are going to apply to the race, but not to the sprint. So we are going to do sprint qualifying as normal and the sprint race as normal. Therefore, we need to win and secure maximum points in case the race goes completely sideways. So let's get into it and let's start off the sprint portion of the video.
Atmospheric tracks don't come much better than this. We're in Brazil for qualifying. Let's get some laps at the limit.
Here we go then, sprint qualifying, medium tyres, you guys know the drill by now, and this is going to be the only qualifying session in this video, as of course for the main qualifying we are not going to take part due to the engine penalty. So we start off the lap a bit scruffy, running deep, on the brakes into turn 1, which cost us a bunch of time. Also, the timing seems to be a bit weird here because with 8 minutes and a half to go on the clock, everyone's leaving the pit. So I thought, you know what, actually, let me just back off, let me turn the engine down, and we'll just let those couple of cars back through, and we'll try again, because I'll get some clear track. You know, everyone's kind of on their laps as well, so we'll get some updated reference lap times. And you can see here, we're 0.3 up compared to the previous lap. So a much cleaner turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, no traffic. And now pushing on, we do make a big mistake at the final corner, which it's not just the corner itself, it's the exit. So we're going to lose time all the way up this straight. So up to the line we go. What is it going to be? A 1.7.3. Not ideal. P13. Either way, I'm going to actually keep pushing here because we've got battery and we've built up some decent tyre temperature. So literally just kept on churning it out, and we're attempting a bit quicker, but crucially we don't make that mistake twice, which means we gain roughly half a second in that final corner alone. And now we're going to improve into the mid to high 6s, and this is a lot better and gets us in the ballpark. P3, quickest of the medium runners, and that is a job well done. So we went back to the pit lane, and I noticed Sergio Perez, who's 19th, is stuck behind a Sauber on his lap, which is going to mean Sergio Perez is not going to make it out of SQ1 last on the grid. So a catastrophic result for Red Bull. I mean, this is massive for the championship in the constructors. We finished P4, P5 alongside Jules, Verstappen also comfortably through, and then we get into SQ2, and it says apparently it's sunny in the bottom, but the track is wet. So we've had this recently. We had it in Mexico last episode where the forecast was all over the place, and I'm getting told one thing on the radio, or the monitor's telling me one thing, but what I'm seeing or what I'm driving is another. Now our first lap is P9, a 1:15.4, and it didn't feel too bad, to be honest with you. So I don't know if we have a ton of pace in these conditions. We went again another lap, consecutive back-to-back laps, and we're only half a tenth quicker, and we're now P10. We don't change position, and we're 0.2 off Ocon in P8. So I tried another lap to try and get some lap time, and again we're only half a tenth up. So I feel like I don't know if there's much more time in it. We stay P10. We're increasing our margin over the rest, but I'm a little bit worried. Now, we do actually nail the first 2 corners, which there was a bit of time there because I'd gradually lost time over the 3 laps, so that I'm basically recovering my original first sector from my first time lap in the session. As you can see, we're currently, well, we were a 10th up, but I made a bit of a mistake out of turn 4, so we're still not improving by the sort of time we need, and this is getting a bit dangerous now. We've got other cars on track, however, not a lot of them. Only a handful of cars have actually left the garage, so we could actually make this if we just get this lap, and now we're starting to just find a little bit of time in this middle sector. I'm being super aggressive, trying to rotate the car with the brakes, you know, with the steering, a bit of throttle control, and we do find some critical tenths which might just make the difference. It looks like this is going to be a very high 114, a 114.9, maybe even a very, very high 8 if we just scrape it. Across the line we go, and it is a 114.8, and we go P7, which gives us a little bit of respite, delivering under pressure, but the pace isn't really there. Luckily, those cars that went out, those 5 cars, weren't actually that quick, and one of them was George Russell, and he's out along with Lando Norris. So some big surprise knockouts in Q2. Leclerc just makes it into Q3 with P10, not SQ3 with P10, and Verstappen setting the pace with the 1:14.0, which is 0.8 quicker than us. Now, the conditions in SQ3,
Light rain will stay with us for at least 20 minutes, maybe more. Light rain is here to stay. Okay, the rain should be ending shortly. Be ready for the grip to come back, but don't overheat the tyres. Inters seem to be the fastest tyre for now.
who knows? Literally, who knows what the conditions are going to be in SQ3, because that radio was a complete contradiction. Anyway, everyone's going purple and they're in the 13s. You know, Verstappen did a 14.0 in SQ2, so the track is actually now drying, and the rain has stopped as we have a massive moment out of turn 4 on our first push lap. We're purple in Sec 2, there's no one on track except me, and we are reaping the benefits of optimal track conditions here where it's primed for inters. Not quite DRS, but the track is wet enough and we're not overheating our tyres, so we go straight to the top with a 1:13.1, and the car and my pace is a lot better in these kind of drier intermediate conditions compared to SQ2 when it was a lot wetter. So we kept on pushing, trying to find the wet stuff on track to try and cool the tyres, and no one's leaving the garage. I'm kind of wondering, should I box for dries? But that kind of shiny look to the track, you know, indicates it's still very much intermediate, and we just kept on finding time everywhere throughout the lap, especially in the middle sector, which is where all the corners are, and we're already P1 and we are going to extend our margin even more, and only 3 cars have left the pits. I wonder if the AI got confused, or, you know, were trying to hang out for dries, but it didn't quite happen, so they hesitated to go out and they didn't make it happen. Either way, like SQ2, only a handful of cars going out, so we don't really have many rivals besides that Ferrari, who could be a threat. And again, we're just finding time everywhere. The track is getting faster and faster, drier and drier, and this is going to be the optimal lap of the session because my tyres now are starting to get a bit hot and we're already first, so we're just basically extending our margin as we drop into the 111s. And you can see now my tyres, the rears were getting hot, which is a sign it's time for dry tyres. So, job done for us, no rivals, therefore sprint qualifying pole is confirmed by 1.5 seconds over Fernando Alonso. I have no idea what the AI did in that session. They got their timings and strategy completely wrong, but who am I to judge? I'm absolutely taking that, and that is an easy pole and a great turnaround because I was really worried about the pace in SQ2 on the Inters. So we'll take that, best possible outcome. Now hopefully we can try and convert this into a win because we need this result before starting last in the main race.
Forget pit stops, forget fuel management, it's pedal to the metal all the way here as we get ready for today's sprint. It's an unusual anti-clockwise race here at Interlagos where the Sao Paulo locals are packed into the grandstands at each of the 15 corners around this classic 2.7-mile circuit. 2 very fast sections bookend the famous and highly technical Sector 2, where getting a good run out of Yung Cao into one of 2 DRS zones will be key to any overtaking prospects today. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and it's Fernando Alonso alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Sainz, Ocon, Magnussen, Stroll, Albon, Leclerc, Norris, Russell, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Zhou, Tsunoda, Bottas, Sargent, Gasly, and Sergio Perez completes our grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
Now time for the sprint, and interestingly, all of the AI seemingly have opted for soft tyres, which was the original or the default strategy, but the tyre wear seemed really bad in the second part of the stint. So I've opted for mediums, so we might suffer in the first 2 or 3 laps, but hopefully we should recover some performance at the end. So if Alonso, Verstappen and co get by, then so be it. Again, we're playing the long game. We'll have much better tyres at the end. Hopefully though, it pays off. We need to win this because the race will be starting from the back of the grid. So let's get to it and let's see what happens. Let's get to it. Lights on. Revs perfect. Away we go. Good start. We're going to just defend the inside. Verstappen through into second place, although now Piastri gets it. And now Verstappen down to 4th, so Piastri with a fast start. Happy to see that. Now Alonso fighting back, so they're battling away, which is great for us. It's just going to take the pressure off. in this initial stage of the race. Gap already a second here, although we'll see if we can pull away. Sector 2 is my strongest sector. I think we've got a bit more wing than everybody else, so we'll see how we perform on the straights. But could we try and break DRS on mediums already? We'll need to nail these last few corners. Alonso is still there. Exit here, critical. Not bad, but no, the softs are too quick. Alonso still hanging on as DRS will now be enabled.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you're within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Still, we'll take that. That's a good start. We've survived, which is what matters. Alonso will use DRS now, but we should be okay to defend. Yep. Let's try and recharge now on medium throughout the lap and begin our defense. Okay, Alonso on us straight away. Super close. We'll use the battery in the second part of the straight to try and hold second place. Oh, Alonso runs deep. Piastri tries to go through. We get knocked by Piastri there, who tried to nudge me to the inside of the apex. I don't think we've got damage. Radio not working, so we'll never know, but it's one of them ones where the MFD flashes up, but I don't think we've got damage. Well, that was a naughty one from Piastri there, just kind of nudging me into the apex. Either way, Alonso with a huge error, so we're back into first. Here comes Piastri. He'll have DRS. We'll just show him the long way round. We're using the overtake. We're actually going to hold on here without DRS. Piastri now switches to the inside. 2 laps in a row. This time we're going to squeeze him off. We're not going to let him do that again. That's a bit of payback for the last lap, which also gives us the gap to remain in front for another lap. Here we go again. Piastri will close in. We'll now get the battery on, although Piastri's got a big run this time. Verstappen having a look. Oh, we lock up into 1. We managed to keep it under control, but Piastri now on the inside. But we managed to go around the outside and stay in front once again, but we're not out of the woods yet. Got to keep the battery on here, but we do stay in front. Eventually the salts will start to fade very soon. Using my battery early on this one, which has also kept us safe. I'll say that, hang about. Piastri is going for the lunge. AI not hesitating one bit to go for it, but we defend the line. Piastri is super close again. I don't have a ton of battery, so we'll have to use it late on the straight. Piastri on the outside this time, but we again run him out of road and hold on. That's the first time we've not been challenged. Neither turn 1 or turn 4, so maybe we're just starting to make a bit of a difference now in that middle sector. We're starting to open up a bit of a gap before the straights arrive. Personal best. Moving my brake bias to 55 to try and avoid so much front locking. I think we can manage now. I feel a bit more comfortable, though Piastri's had a good run through turn 1 and turn 2. Just got to defend the inside one more time. Slight bit of contact, but we keep it clean. And we hold on again. I've just realised we've got no fuel left. We've burned through all of it super quickly. That's a bit of a problem. I might have to drop behind Piastri here to make this on fuel. That might be the only way. Just a little tactical drop behind. And follow. We have the better tyres now. I'm quicker than everyone on softs, so we can manage this. We'll just have to save fuel and manage. Oh, thank you, Oscar. Appreciate it.
Green flag.
We're not going to have any DRS here, so Verstappen will be lurking, but we've got plenty of battery. We've got a little bit of fuel now, so we just need to manage it for a lap and a half. Although Max's best chance is going to be passing us right now on the next start-finish straight. We'll burn everything on this. Got pretty much a full charge, so we'll let it rip to to stay ahead of Verstappen. We'll try and keep a little back for the next straight. Just like that. A little bit lift and coast. And now prepare the exit. And there we go. Just use everything we've got left and that will do it. The AI usually run out of battery on the last lap. As you can see, Verstappen's not even catching anymore. And there we go. One last final exit. Nice and clean. Job done. Sprint win. Verstappen though, second. So, not ideal. He also gets the fastest lap of the race.
That was good, bro. Thanks so much. And all the guys, thank you so much. Let's keep pushing. There's a lot of work to do.
Formula One returns to Interlagos once again with the stage set for what promises to be another classic Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Sebastian Vettel famously clinched his third championship here in 2012, and in 2016, Max Verstappen treated us all to one of the finest wet weather drives of all time. We're racing then at Interlagos, a historic 2.7-mile circuit and one of the few anti-clockwise tracks on the calendar. 15 corners in total, 9 to the left and 6 to the right, with a technical middle section opening up to a flat-out Sector 3 that gives us our best passing opportunity down into Turn 1. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Fernando Alonso lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Russell, Stroll, Oscar Piastri, Perez, Ocon, Gasly, Verstappen, Albon, Tsunoda, Leclerc, Sainz, Bottas, Hülkenberg, Sargent, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Joe, and Lewis Hamilton rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And we welcome you to the commentary box overlooking the circuit. I'm Alex Jakes, and I'm joined by Anthony Davidson. Now, those final hours before a race, did you have a routine?
Well, for them, you've got your pre-race rituals that you go through. You see different drivers that, some have got their headphones on, they're listening to the music. Some drivers really absorb the energy from the crowd and they're there waving to them. Other drivers, they go within themselves. They chat to their engineers, absorbing that information, that vital information that you need to carry you through the race. And, those pre-race rituals are essential to making things systematic. We do a lot of Grand Prix in a season, and the more systematic you can be, the easier you are within that environment.
Here we go then. Time for the main event, the main race. Confirmation of our grid drop. So we're starting last, hence why we didn't qualify. But Max Verstappen is starting P9. He also has a grid drop, so he's not starting up the sharp end. So this race is still very much open. Now, the original strategy from the game is again to start on soft tyres and move to mediums. I can't quite run these softer tyres the way that AI do. I don't know how they do it. Tyre wear is really high for me. You can see on the graph, really, really high tyre wear. So I'm going to just go safe. I'm going to go with what I know, what I trust. The hard tyre for me is the best race tyre in this game. So we're going to start on that tyre and then move to mediums. That should hopefully deliver the performance we need throughout the race. We'll be quick at the end, which is also what matters. I've taken a lesson from the sprint, so we're taking a full extra lap of fuel. We'll also save fuel in traffic as well, so that hopefully should cover that. So let's get into it. Let's see what happens. We've also got a pit stop to save fuel as well, so the key thing is to hopefully have a good first stint on hards. Don't be too slow. I've also lowered the wing a little bit as Park for May got opened between sprint and main qualifying, so I've lowered the front and the rear wing by 1 click to hopefully give us a bit more straight line speed. So let's get into it and let's send it. The beauty of being at the back is that you can peel off and basically warm your tyres up freely and get your own speed. So we've done a good job, got the tyres nicely warmed up. Now we're going to get into it. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Let's run it back. Just like 2021. Lights on, fresh engine. Not a lot of grip off the line. Right, easy does it. Let's just take a wide line. We'll try and get Joe, who's on mediums. That's a reasonable car to pass. There we go. Let's see if we can try and now be ready to basically pick off moves as they happen. We've got lots of 2 wide, so track being blocked, not a lot of space. Key thing here is to avoid damage. We've had a bit of a bad run with damage lately, so let's hope we have a smooth race. Ricardo leaving the door open, but tries to turn in. Just going to cautiously put one on the inside of Magnussen. Can we go around the outside here on hards? Yep, let's just try and get this move locked in. No, Magnussen around the outside this time. Now we're going around the outside. Leaving space. But through we go. So P17, I'd say an okay, cautious, but you know, progressive first lap. We've got a few moves done, that's what matters. Let's try and hopefully not...
Use DRS. DRS now available.
Hopefully not lose any positions. So DRS now enabled. Key thing is to try and get past all the Formula B cars, which will be slow. As you know, there's usually a split in the pack, so we've got to try and get past all these guys ASAP. That was bloody close.
Yellow flag.
Oh, hang on. Who is it? Let's see who's causing that yellow flag. Still no confirmation.
Okay, clear.
Wow, Russell out. Well, that's a big blow for the constructors yet again. Trying to get Bottas here. We're on the outside of 1, which gives us the inside into 2. And we lock it up. So we're down to 1 Mercedes car this race. Probably the worst case scenario. So yeah, you can still really see that lead group driving off. Perez at the back of that train. Verstappen and Sainz still stuck in this train with, I believe, either Piastri or Norris at the front of it. We've got momentum with the battery. He's flashing a little bit, derating. Down the inside, just about to get the car stopped. Let's try and square off the exit. And that's P14. Sainz just up ahead on mediums. Same move again. We seem to like this. It's working well for us. Getting the battery on early. Out the final corner. Up the hill. Williams, of course, pretty low on drag. Trying to get the car stopped. Proving to be a bit difficult, but we get through on Sargent. That wasn't a very pretty move, but it's done, and that's what matters.
Okay, Lewis, let's try and pick our moments where we use ERS. Let's try to be consistent with it going forward, please.
Right then, that's 1 lap done, 4 more to go. There's a battle for the lead, and there's also a battle for the front of the train, with Verstappen, of course, involved. Just trying to see where we can pass. We are very quick in the middle sector. I don't know if it's because there's some slower cars, you know, sprinkled in between, and the fast ones can't really show their pace, but I mean, Max and the McLaren are leading this train, and they don't seem to be particularly quick. Maybe there's damage, although we're not really losing any ground to the leading group anymore, so maybe there is, and maybe our pace is just actually pretty decent. I really don't know. In sectors 1 and 3, we struggle a bit more, but here we go. Sainz on medium, Gasly on medium, so important past these guys. Going to get the run. Ferrari, though, pretty good on the straight. Outside line again. This time getting the car stopped a bit earlier, and that was a much cleaner move. Overtaking what could be our future car next season, who knows. Gasly next, and then Tsunoda after that to break into the top 10. Here we go again. I think Tsunoda's caught up a little bit to Leclerc, so he'll have DRS on the Ferrari. We're going to get underneath Pierre nice and early, so we might have a chance here at Tsunoda for the 2 for 1. Yep, just about got the car stopped. Beautiful double move, and that's P10 now, so we're into the points. No DRS, so we're going to have to use the battery here to stay ahead of Tsunoda. Battling ahead, and battling for the lead. Still ongoing as Albon runs deep, so make that 3 moves.
Green flag.
Brief yellow flag, but I don't think anything happened. Let's keep pushing. Everybody here on medium tyres, so everyone's going for the alt strap, so soft tyres at the end for all of these boys. We're going to be on medium, so constantly in the short term on a tyre deficit, but hopefully long term on the right strategy. Now, Verstappen can't pull away from Piastri, so every lap they keep swapping on the pit straight. We're now catching, I'd say, the lead group. I think we're closing the gap because they're really battling out there, so this race is coming back our way, and I'd say a race win isn't out of the question. I wonder if we could maybe go for a little surprise lunge. Up the inside. Leclerc still there. Around the outside. Job done. Nice move. Surprise move. Now we can go after Ocon, who's a bit of an outlier in this pack, doing a good job in the Alpine. That was a pretty horrific final corner, but here we go. We'll also complete the objective.
Great stuff, mate. You hit the target well there. Nice one. There's a long way to go in this race, though, so keep your head down.
And we have arrived to Max Verstappen in 11 laps. Verstappen's going through on Piastri. This keeps happening every lap. Piastri passes on the pit straight, Verstappen passes on the second straight. Yellow flag. I think that's behind.
Okay, clear.
Ocon made a mistake and ran deep into turn 1, I think. These two are going at it, just running it back every lap, the exact same sequence. Piastri passes on the main straight and then Verstappen back through again. It's literally a mirror image every lap. Yellow flag behind. Again, this time I think Ocon out of the race altogether. Visibly slowing down on the mini-map. Will that trigger a safety car? That could be interesting. Because we can't go hard. Nope.
Okay, Lewis. Piastri ahead. Come on, mate. This is it. Let's try and get past them quickly.
It's hard for me to pass at the minute because these are faster cars compared to Formula B. Visibly you can see we're catching the lead group, so at the minute this is kind of working. So I'm in no rush to force this because you can see we're getting closer. So we're catching back up. Oh, car in the pit lane. Someone's in. Alonso on softs. So we do have a few soft tyre runners. So Alonso, the first one to pull the trigger, which might not work out with the leading group. This battle now is starting to get really heated. Nope. Thought about going to the outside there, but instead Leclerc goes through. I've left my battery on, that's why I'm losing the back end. Whoops. No big deal, no need to panic. But we were catching the lead group. Now that battling in the last lap or so was really not beneficent. Zhou disqualified. Interesting. We'll get Leclerc back. I'll try to get him back. Stop the car, stop the car. Don't outbrake ourselves. Leclerc's still there, so I've got to leave some room. Come on guys, the leaders are right there. Oh, hello. Verstappen in.
Okay, really, really good. You hit that target nicely. There's a long way to go in this race, so let's keep it clean.
Few cars in, to be fair.
In this lap, push now.
Perez stays out. So again, we're going to go mediums. This is our scheduled lap, but I might just extend another lap in clean air. I want to see what I can do on this tyre. We'll get DRS when we pass Piastri in the pits. So let's prepare for one big push lap after this. Piastri, Perez will pit, giving us P1. So now let's push and see what we can do. Interestingly, the AI going medium to hard. I thought they'd go medium soft based off the pre-race strat. Alonso has gone medium, so he pit the earliest and has gone aggressive. So either he's two-stopping or he's feeling brave on those tyres. Either way, I might go another lap, seeing they're not on softs. Right then, clean air, DRS on the pit straight, pushing flat out with all the battery. 1:09.0, half a second quicker. That's a bit more like it. We will box probably on this lap though. In we go. One and only stop. Let's hopefully have a smooth one. I think Piastri had a slow stop because Verstappen is on his own. Piastri has fallen back. Wow, that was a perfect entry. Right on the money. Here we go. Hitting the marks. Yep, we'll take that. That's a smooth stop there, a 2.4. Norris, Stroll, Perez battling. Verstappen closing with Leclerc.
Pit strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
We're going to be just behind Max, but not a million miles away. Just behind Leclerc, but we have the tyre advantage. Didn't quite get DRS there. Verstappen has now joined the train and the battle for P2. So, 2 Red Bulls in that scrap. Verstappen going purple. Not purple in the middle, surprisingly, but it was a good middle sector. We've got a pretty much full charge, so we can now unload that on Leclerc. It's hammer time, baby. We're going for this. Although the Ferrari is pretty speedy. There we go. 1 minute 7.7. We go purple by 4/10. Through on Leclerc on the inside of turn 2. Perez now up to 3rd. Verstappen looking to get involved. Stroll fighting back against his former teammate. It's all kicking off here. Just got to be careful. Front wing could be lost at any moment, as we've seen before in this season. Bit of a mistake there. We might still be able to challenge Verstappen though. Here we go. Big moment in the race. We're going for it. Up the inside. Do not run into Norris, so we have to brake early. Verstappen's still there, but we go through. Crucial move on our championship rival.
Okay, Lewis, your lap times are all over the place right now. We've got to have consistency. Come on, we can do better than this.
That might be because I had the box. I'm not going to lie to you, Chief. Oh, hang on. Verstappen's having a look here. We're going to just outbrake him. I was trying to save battery by not using, because we used everything on the last one. Norris is a bit slow. Oh my god, just got squeezed out there. Now Verstappen's back for more. Into turn 4, Stroll's going slow. I think I've got a track limit there. I think I'm on 2 warnings. I might be wrong. I didn't even notice, to be fair. Verstappen on the outside. Still there. We're going to outbrake him into here though. Right, full charge. Let's get Stroll. Norris and Perez trying to pull the pin here and change the pace. Going to switch to the inside. Down the inside into 1, clean move. Straight through. If Alonso does pit, this is battle for the lead. We started last. I'm going to try and get the 2 for 1. We've got a full charge, so there's no reason why not. Just going to sit behind Checo for a bit. Be patient. Here we go. Oh, I'm in a bit deep. Stop the car. Inside through 2. I don't know who got DRS there. We didn't. But crucially, we've got enough of a gap here that we can stay ahead of Checo. Now the question is, do we have the pace? For the first time, we've got a tyre advantage in terms of performance. Not too much wear. I think braking DRS is going to be tricky. Really tricky. Had a good middle sector there, but Perez has still remained in DRS. I don't think we'll be under pressure, but I don't think we're going to get away. Almost dropped him. Almost. I clocked a bit too late, and I got the battery in a second too late. I might have had a chance there. We need to drop him now before our tyres maybe we're at a 3-4 laps time. Oh, hang about. Norris has gone through. That's the opening, because they've battled. Now we've got the brake. So they're going to continue on now with their DRS battling. We've now broken away, and I don't think they'll catch us anymore now. We're catching Alonso, but I don't think he's pitting anymore, so this is going to be all she wrote. P2 with the fastest lap of the race. And here we go. After 36 laps, we win the sprint, and we're going to finish P2 in the main race. Couldn't win because Alonso was absolutely brilliant today. What a strategy. Soft medium, super aggressive. He makes it work, but hey, we outscored Verstappen, and that is huge for our championship, and that is like a win.
mistake earlier on, but we live and we learn. On to the next one.
The old master has done it again. Fernando Alonso takes the checkered flag.
A great display of dominance today by this driver. They led from lights out to the flag at the end, led every lap of the race. Brilliant stuff by them, and excited to see what more they can do in future races.
It's time to present the top drivers with their trophies for today's Grand Prix. There are a lot of people in the paddock very happy with this result. It's Aston Martin on the top step.
And there we go. We are the highest point scorers of the weekend, which is a huge, huge result. Alonso a close second, Verstappen third, but crucially, we outscore Max by 12 points over the weekend. So a very, very, very good weekend's work. So let's delve into the standings in more detail. Rather than focusing on the race results, let's just get into it. So 25 points is the gap over Max, a race win in hand with 3 races remaining and a sprint in Qatar. So the window is narrowing for Verstappen to respond. There's 75 points up for grabs in race pace or race events, and then of course another 8 points for a sprint, and then 4 fastest lap points. So 75 plus 12, 87, I think my math is correct. So that's the window Verstappen has to try and hopefully get closer. So in the constructors though, Red Bull had both cars in the points, so the gap is 36. We do actually increase our lead, I believe, marginally by 3 points, even with Russell's DNF because we finished second, but could have been a bit more had we not been unlucky with Russell's reliability. So we'll take it, we go to the next one, no harm done. We took an engine penalty free of charge and we still delivered, so good stuff. Anyway guys, on screen now you're going to have the post-race fallout, our driver rating of course, getting very close now by the way, very close. Could happen in the next episode, we hit 93, which would be absolutely huge for our rating. And also in the rivalries with Verstappen, with Alonso, that's still ongoing. Maybe even winning one with Verstappen, to be fair. Now I think about it, I'll have to check. Either way, I'm not seeing these things on screen right now. You guys are. So yeah, specialist target is done. Everything looks good, guys. So yeah, cheers for watching. Like, subscribe. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let's try to smash over 1,000 likes. Shout out to the members of the channel for supporting all the videos and the content. Check out the links down below, along with the videos on screen. And yeah, guys, I'll see you next time in the next one. Take care, and it's goodbye from me.